Bismillah. So excited for this, man. So excited. Thanks for this, bro. How do we get to the brand, the image, the man, this stage? Who is Khaled Siddiq? How did we get here?
How did we get here? Yeah, it's a long story, man. I've always done music.
Yeah.
In my life. Ever since I was like 5, 6, I would go see my dad. He lived in Spain, so he's a performer as well. So whenever I'd go meet him, he would bring me on stage and make me sing songs with him. So that's kind of, it was naturally within me to just the performing and the singing, and then with the rapping, like in terms of like this culmination of all my musical abilities with the rapping. I forgot the first thing I saw that was rapping. It might have been Shaggy. It wasn't me. It might have been that. And I memorized the lines, innit? So then when I went to school and I did it, people were losing their minds, like, oh my God, that is so sick. All the lines. Yeah, and he's got the accent as well, it's so cool. But then I'd sing because they had the other song with all that, the angel. Angel, okay. You're my darling. So I'd sing that as well. Then I'd go and flip back to the rap. And I used to just love like just entertaining people, and like people used to love it. So obviously that would then just, vicarious reinforcement, just carried on doing that.
So you mentioned Shaggy, which is nice, but then so who else influenced you then?
In the beginning, I'd have to say people, in terms of the UK, I think the first people that ever came out for me to see was like So Solid Crew. Yeah. And maybe Craig David as well. Then from the US, obviously like 50 Cent was like my guy in terms of like, looking for an older, black role model in my life, because obviously my dad wasn't in my life to begin with like that often. So, being young, looking to like, okay, what it is, or 50 Cent was just like, the package. And musically as well. But then also, because when I would be with my dad, I listened to a lot of the music that he was doing. So, Motown, what do you call it? The Temptations, the Drifters, all this kind of like old classic stuff. That kind of like all went into my head as a young age. Marvin Gaye. So we have, this is Khaled Siddiq at 5'6". He's doing Shaggy. He's got Motown in his head. He's on stage with his dad. And then talking through the process to how old are you now? You're 25 now, yeah? So how did we get from 5, 6 years old Khaled to 25 Khaled Siddiq, his, the main man in the Muslim scene? How did I get there? Well, to be honest, it all started back in July 2015. That's when I started the YouTube channel. And I was just on the way, I was driving to London one time, and I was just thinking like, yo, I should just... let's just make a YouTube. YouTube was popping at that point, so there was a bare vloggers. It wasn't like the beginning of it, but it wasn't that popular. It wasn't super like everyone's a vlogger now, and everyone's got a YouTube channel. But now back then it wasn't that popular. So I was like, let me just do this, help out the Muslims. At that time, I was in a position in my life where I was starting to take the religion like more seriously. I was asking myself deeper questions. So I was doing that, and as I was kind of working out by myself, I was thinking, oh, well, I should kind of be an example, and very naively, let me try and help guide. You met the Ummah. Yeah. For music, yeah. Low, yeah. But then, okay, cool. So 2015, you're setting up YouTube, yeah? And the vision was help Muslims through what exactly? For being an example, for being a role model. Being a role model, yeah? Because I read a quote recently that says, the celebrities of our day and age are like the modern era prophets. Yeah. So I mean, wow. So as in the sense that people follow them. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So so you see yourself as a role model for Muslims then. That's great. No, back then I did. Back then you did. Okay, let's get that clear. No, okay, 2015, role model for Muslims. But you never started with music in the beginning, did you? No. Why is that? Using music, well, I was just for the opinion, which was the popular opinion, which is pretty much still the popular opinion to today, that music is haram. Yeah. So I was cool with that. I was like, fine, because I'd given up listening to music at that point. Really? When I started taking it seriously, I just went 6 months and I did not listen to, in terms of my own will, like press play on any song that had music in it. So I just went on a 6 month, and it was actually quite easy as well. You think it'd be super hard. It was actually like really easy to do, and I know many people will be wondering then, so how did you get to that stage then? How was that stage of you stopping music then? So that was kind of at the height of my clubbing, my raving, my kind of smoking, drinking, everything I was doing. Then I was just like, yo, this life state, it doesn't have what I want. There's something missing. And I know it's sometimes an ego thing as well to kind of blame the music, or it's the music that was doing this, it was this, but really you're just a weak person. And I was just a weak person, innit? Like, I was getting influenced by music. I didn't have God really in my life like that. So, but I still do see the wisdom as to me giving up music for that 6-month period, because it gave me like I think I needed it at that point. Regardless of my views on music now, I still think just because some things like can be permissible or impermissible, like sometimes you can like, you know, drinking Coke isn't, you know, haram, but like, you know, too much of it. Like,
I thought you were going to, I'll say, what? Disclaimer, cocaine is haram in Islam, guys. I was like, oh, where's it going with this one?
Wow, it's that kind of video. Okay, let me just loosen up. Yes, but anyway, yeah, no, so yeah, drinking Coca-Cola is not, obviously there's nothing wrong with it, but then in excess and too much, then it's like, okay, it's not haram to, but it's like, you should take a break from it. Exactly. So in the same thing with music, I was just like fully in it, and it was fully like bad for me because it was just really not manipulating me, but like just in the words.
And this is very interesting because in the Sharia we have something called faqih nafs. So everyone is the faqih, the jurist of their nafs. So something is not haram, but you know for yourself, don't do it. Just don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I was there, I mean, the ego side was me blaming the music. So like, because it's all this haram and they're all lost and I need to get a thing. But in reality, I think it's just the fact that I was very, what's the word? Easily swayed, like if talking about certain life, then if I don't have anything else, then I'm going to listen to this. Looking at it now in retrospect or in hindsight, I can see that it was needed. So that was that. Then I met my manager. So at this point, I was doing the non-vocal, the non-music, stuff, the vocals only, which I enjoyed beatboxing anyway. That's something I always did, even from way back when. That was another thing that used to impress people, that I could beatbox.
But did it ever click in your mind that the kind of bit controversial here, which I find the hypocrisy of Muslims, because it sounds exactly like music.
100%. So this will be leading on how to I realised it was just a load of crap. But like before that, so I'm using the and obviously I'm quite good at beatboxing, so I can make it sound
like a music,
the exact same. Like if you listen to Festival now, even sometimes I'm just sound like raw. Did I really not use any of it? Because it's like, yo, this in fact is what's so crazy. The Festival backing track that I found and then I recreated. We went back into the studio and then we made the actual music version of it. Yo, the non-music version actually sounds better. It makes you vibe better. And if the whole thing is like, oh, because music makes you move and it's like, well, you know what I mean? It's like logic. It was just like, I felt like. Anyway, so I was scared though at that point. Like I was scared, didn't want to disobey God, didn't want to burn in the eternal fire for this. So I was scared. So I ain't really out here trying to challenge things. I'm just trying to be like, okay, well, if this is the case, then this is the case. Then I met my manager, and then he was like, yeah, it's cool what you're doing. So what's your kind of your music? I was like, well, obviously it's haram, you know. And he's like, well, maybe not. There's some difference of opinion. I was like, well, I've heard that before, but I think it's pretty clear that, you know. And then I was listing off all that kind of stuff that had been like, it stuck in my head, like, well, you know, it takes your heart away from Islam, and Quran and music can't exist in the same heart. It's like oil and water, all them kind of catchphrases there. And I was just kind of reading them off, and he was just like, and he was coming with actually like facts of like scholars that were saying this and just reason and logic, so and just being rational. I was like, okay. Then I said, so this is my teacher at the time. Well, my teacher was like a family friend, but he's an imam. So he was like, okay, go to him, ask his opinion. So he's from Zanzibar. So I went here and see what you think then. So then I went to him, asked his opinion. He went, yeah, you can use music. It's good for a good cause. And I was like, and then even after that, I still didn't use it because I was still like, nah, I don't know, I'm still scared.
Too ingrained in you.
It was way too like ingrained into me, like this thing of not using music.
But then if so. Clearly, faith is a big part of your life. So, you know, you being Muslim, you're very known for Muslim artists. Was the goal then to be a Muslim artist and to speak about Islam openly?
100%. That was it, because it was just kind of tied hand in hand with the videos I was doing. So I was doing like little social experiments and little like advice videos and all this kind of this package of like, oh, this is how, you know, to be a Muslim, this is what we should be doing. Let's try and do this together.
So let's weigh it up then. So that's what's going on in the world of Khaled Siddiq, as in the camera. What's going on in your own faith behind the camera?
Oh yeah, wow. So I think around that time, like the beginning of my like anxiety had like started. It always kind of been there throughout my life, but then it was like recently, just in the birth of the YouTube thing, it kind of happened as well, which was also a push towards me taking religion seriously, because I was like, yo, I can't like, and my anxiety wasn't like social anxiety or just like, you know, worrying about things. Mine was like an existential anxiety of like, what is it like? So it was just related to the very essence of my being. So like that's not something you can just kind of, you know,
walk away from.
Yeah, or just say, oh, you know, it's not so bad. And to be more specific, it was anxiety related to eternity. So that was like the more, because eternity is like, it's a fact. Like, you know, we exist now. There's no turning off. It's too late, you know. So that kind of stuff. So that was what was kind of fueling. That's what was going on behind the scenes. So now I'm searching for answers in relation to this thing that's within inside me of like, oh, I need to work this out. So that's kind of going on. In fact, the first was it the first video I did? After the first video I did, I think I had like a major, like one of the like worst anxiety attacks I've ever had. I don't even know if it was anxiety, panic, just meant shut down, whatever it was. Like after that first video, then I was thinking I'm not doing it. I'm not doing YouTube anymore because I just don't have the energy. Like,
what about the anxiety?
Again, just the thoughts of like just the reflecting upon the you know, the world, me, life, where am I going, and then that was like, oh wait, it's just going to go on forever. And then I was thinking about paradise, but I was like, paradise, even like the next life, but that's going to go on forever. I don't care about hills and mountains and honey and lake. I don't care about any of that. Obviously, it's a better alternative than, you know, eternally better, but I still don't care about. I don't care about no horror, and I don't care about any of that. So these kind of deep questions here, and the version of Islam I was getting, it just wasn't satisfying that. I was out here, I remember I was praying, I was like, yo Allah, just make me fall in love with paradise. make me actually want it. Yeah, that's so, I mean, that's so crazy to think about that now. Like, you know, make me love paradise, because then I want to get it. But I just, because right now I don't give a crap about it. Obviously, like I say, it's the better alternative out of the two. But yeah, so the Islam that was being presented to me at the time, which was a very kind of, you know, conservative type of Islam, just wasn't doing it for me. But I knew that was like the best I had, the best option I had at the time, because like none of the other religions were. In fact, Buddhism was kind of pushing to it, but then there was some of the things I wasn't really. It wasn't really, not even necessarily agree with. It just wasn't like, I wasn't resonating with it, but I liked it. But anyway, so then I was using the non-music, and then we just went for a meeting one time. Me and my manager, I was talking about progress, and it was as random as hell, and then it just kind of came out. I was like, so we just make the transition, because now it came to a point where I'd fully understood that this whole thing of like, oh, you know, vocals okay, but like the actual music isn't. I have so much more respect for people that's like, no, it's all wrong. There's no nasheeds, no music, no. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, it's like consistent. Then the fact that this thing that sounds the exact same, if in some cases even better, but it's like, because it's actually no music, then it's wrong. It's like that. I'm not stupid. And it was because of their dissatisfaction that my community at the time, my supporters at the time, of their constant kind of actually, I wouldn't even say the supporters, just kind of the haters. So I wouldn't link them to my supporters, because they're always there supporting. But their haters at the time, they're just like, oh no, it's still not good enough. No, it's haram, it's haram. You know, he's just making a joke out of Islam. It was because of their constant dissatisfaction that pushed me to go search and learn more about music. Because if they'd have been okay, I would have probably never like, why do I need to go and find if music's haram or halal? Because I'm doing what I'm doing now, it's working well, getting paid, There's no need for me to find out if music is but it was because of you, them guys kept scaring me, thinking, oh, I'm gonna burn and I then went to go do the thing. I then found out that it's not the case at all. Now I use music. So I mean, obviously,
so quotes and haters are my motivators.
That's it in a way. But like, it wasn't motivating me to like be better. It was just motivating me to like, you know, get knowledge, because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to be angry.
We'll definitely come on to those people and your detractors as well. Definitely come on to that. But I want to speak about this transition stage. So you start doing music. Is there any fears, anything in your mind thinking, why am I doing this? Or I'm going to lose my following? Or like, what's going on in that stage when you're saying, okay, you know what? Cool. I've done non-music. I believe music was haram. I didn't do music. I'm stepping into a new phase of who I am now and what I believe, and even the Islam I'm following is a bit different now. What's going on in that stage and behind the scenes with you personally? Was that transition easy for you, or was it?
It was quite difficult, just in terms of fear on just the practical level. Like I'm gonna lose bookings. I'm gonna lose supporters. It's new. It's scary. It's challenging. So and in fact, I think the first song that we came out when we used music, we lost the booking that was already there straight away. So that was the first sign of it, of now, like, financially it's going to start affecting me. But at that point, I knew if I now go back to not using it, then I'm 100% not sincere. So now I actually have to 1,000,000% go forward with this now, because the only reason I'll go back will be because of money. So it's like, okay, so that kind of gave me even like a sign from Allah in a way, like, so what are you doing it for then? Is it because you actually believe this, or is it da-da-da? So for a long time, like, actually it took a big hit, like obviously loads of bookings, like the majority of like the kind of the Muslim organizations like around the world, they're all kind of, they don't use music for the majority. So they were all my, you know, where all the money was coming from, and they all just stopped, you know. Well, not all stopped, because there was still alhamdulillah, Allah still kind of kept the provision there.
But then you go on to music then, and many Muslims will report with by saying to you then, okay, maybe music's maybe not be haram, but it's not a good thing because the wider music industry is clearly against Islam. The contemporary music industry, so it's going to be your DJ Khaled, you know, they're going to wear Allah sign and spray Ciroc on it, you know, all these.
Did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, like Allah sign, Allah chain, and he poured Ciroc on it, yeah. And people had a fit about it, obviously. Yeah. And so the wider Muslim community is going to be like, okay, cool. Why would you then, as a Muslim who's clearly practicing Islam, not like people who are not practicing, or we don't know what's in their hearts, obviously, but we look outside and think, okay, you know, they drink openly, all this stuff. So why would you, who's clearly practicing a Muslim artist, want to be associated with that industry then?
I don't see why me being a practicing Muslim means that I now need to like just be in areas which are only like conducive to a spiritual, like, you know, go live in the mountains.
Yeah.
Because like taking that kind of philosophy to its highest extent, of like, oh, this is like, there's bad stuff here, so stay away from it. Okay, so there's bad stuff in the music stuff. There's bad stuff in like the, you know, the finance system that people working in banks. There's bad stuff in the educational system, like, you know, people. I mean, I definitely don't hold this view, but like, oh, like, you know, schools teaching children things that, you know, that you know, that Jesus is this or whatever, all this kind of crap. Like, so it's bad stuff anyway. So let's just take that to its extent. Go live in the mountains with the sheep and just, you know, look at God's creation all day and be fine. But that's not what Islam came to do. It didn't come to you know, hide us away like monks, and that's what I did. I wasn't really down with the Buddhist thing, because it just kind of seemed like kind of take yourself away from the world, and you know, and hide basically, and everything will be better. And not say there's no benefit in that, maybe here and there, but like not as a way of life. So this thing of you know, stay with the music industry because it's bad. It's like, well, why can't me coming into it? Why can't I bring good to it? Because it's bad to it. Like, was the music industry always like that? No, well, 100% not. So now it's got you know, a bit mad. It's like, okay, we'll just run away and hide, and you know, it's like, it doesn't add up to me in that way.
So going back onto your detractors then, so you do music and then you get a crap load of hate, what's your response to it? I know you had a policy of you don't respond to your haters, which I think is brilliant, and I think that's the way it should be. Don't respond to hate. But surely as a person behind the camera, what is it doing to you?
I think initially the reason it was having an effect on me in the beginning, because I thought what they were saying, like when they quote the Hadith, when they quote Quran, like, used to scare me. So I'm worrying at this point. I'm reading the comments, so it affected me in that aspect. So the worrying about like, in terms of just like people not liking me, then it didn't really have that much of an effect on me, because obviously I lived a life before this, and on a in balance, in comparison, the Muslim world to like the life I was living before, like, it's just like, it's a joke, isn't it? It's a joke. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not serious. So just people commenting, it's just like, all right, whatever you do, they don't like it. And because I'd gone through so many like controversial moments, but even before that, like with the thing with the mask and just all different kind of things, it's just kind of, it was just building the thicker skin, and it was just kind of getting stronger. And it got to a point like to where it is now, it's like, you know what I mean? But I realised I had to go through that process. So initially, it was affecting me because I was worried, like, oh, perhaps they're right. You know, this guy seems like he's knowledgeable. Perhaps I'm misguided, all this kind of stuff. But then it kind of fades away.
But now you're at a stage where it doesn't affect you at all.
Like the negative. Well, obviously, like on a human level, it's like, it's not nice. Not like I enjoy it. Like, like, because that's a bit weird if you start to like enjoy the hate, because then. But it's just like, you just see it for what it is. Yeah. And anything beyond that is just ego. Just look at it for what it is. And in most cases, just a person is, you're challenging their view of the world, and that scares them, because then it's kind of so for them to kind of establish their grip on reality, then is to attack you or attack your way of thinking, because then it, you know, reestablishes their own kind of view of perspective of life. So if you just see it like that, then it's easy to get past it.
Okay, man. So 2015. the artist, non-vocals, Khaled Siddiq, Muslim music. 2018, are you still trying to be that Muslim artist now? Or would you see yourself you want to break into the mainstream music?
1,000,000%. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm Muslim. Yes. I'm just trying to be what a musician is. Yes. So a musician, or like a good musician, a good artist, so like, is one that just reflects a reality that's within them, artistically, through the gifts that they've been given. So whether that be, if I was a painter, then I'd paint. Whatever is inside, whatever I'm experiencing, whatever I go for life. Now I'm a musician first and foremost. I'm not like, oh, I'm a Muslim musician. I'm moving away from that.
So you're a musician who's Muslim as opposed to Muslim musician.
It's 100% cheesy. Like in terms of if you're actually trying to affect people's life, like on a effective level, not like a superficial one where you're just appeasing to a mindset that's already kind of, you know what I mean, like because I could do that as well. I fully hacked the game in terms of I knew how the right things to say, get people, and it just felt so false. That's another reason why I had to get away from it, because it was just false. I knew all the words to write, I knew how to get people emotional, but it wasn't real. And the change and impact that I want to have is one that is real. So how do I do that? Is just being real with myself. So whatever's within. So obviously I'm going to be writing songs that are going to have Islamic influences, because Islam is like,
big thing of
yes, exactly. And to take it kind of beyond that, it's just the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's it. Islam, just what I've been taught about the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's everything in my life. But I also live in the West. I also do things that normal kind of kids, or not kids, I'm 25, but young adults do. So that's going to be reflected now. I'm hiding it because it's not I'm trying to give you a whole package to see it's a whole human being. So now, hopefully, to relate to people, and if they want to kind of come and support it and kind of helps their life, then that's good, isn't it? But then
after all that's said, surely then you are a role model then. Yeah,
but I'm not actively going out of my way to be a role model, which I was before.
Okay.
Let me do this. Let me say this. Let me do that. Now I'm just like, let me just be me. Yeah. And if that's if people want to follow that and that, but I think the problem is when you're trying to I'm going to lead you guys to the Holy Land, the Promised Land, then it's a problem.
And I really like that, because I feel like people can relate when something's authentic.
Exactly.
So people say he's just a guy like me. Mm-hmm. He's someone who struggles with this, struggles with his faith sometimes, struggles with all these aspects of the religion, which people do, and especially for this show, which is Muslim Millennials. So this is that category, and that category of people who are fed up with what they're seeing out there.
Yeah.
Fed up with what, they go into the mosque and they're not getting it anymore. And they're not getting what's kind of feeds their soul, feeds their mind, and they look at other places.
Yeah, 100%.
So I feel like people can relate to that. So tell me some highlights of your career then so far. What are some highlights?
Some of the highlights. So there's a lot, man. Alhamdulillah, I've been really blessed. The kind of places I've been in the world. Australia, going there was really crazy. Going literally on the other side of the world and having people that know you, and I was just like, what? Do you know what I mean? It's so crazy. A place like South Africa. Toronto I really loved, and America. So going to these kind of places in the world have been huge kind of highlights. I'm like, wow, what I've done has enabled me to go to these places, seeing people's lives that I've affected all the way across the world. I don't sit and reflect on it too much. But then when it's kind of there in my face and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much, and all the different accents, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. So that was a big highlight. Another highlight, possibly performing at Muslim Fest in Toronto, because that was probably one of the biggest crowds I performed to, and that was just crazy, just to see the impact, people knowing the words and stuff like that.
And I mean, for me, someone who knows you personally, question is that I know you're very humble still, so what keeps you grounded, man?
What keeps me grounded? I think it's just, he who knows himself knows his Lord, innit? So when the thoughts are coming there, oh, you actually are someone, you actually are, you're actually out here doing it, you're the man, that is when you're disconnecting from that reality of knowing yourself and knowing your Lord. You're moving towards something else, this false idea of an ego, of a self, which doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a mirage. It's an illusion which you can choose to accept, or when by God's blessing is allowed to remove that veil and see the reality, full reality, what it is. you'd have to actually go and blind yourself again to kind of fall back into the trick. Not to say that I never don't get moments of like, oh, that felt quite good or da-da-da-da, but the superior narrative in my life is the one where I know myself and I know my Lord. So I'd find it very difficult if I was to slip back into that reality of having the ego and becoming, you know, I don't know, not humble. But even then again, saying yourself is humble is not a good sign. So, you know, I'm not humble in it, you know. I'm just,
So, kind of, if you were like, I'm gonna be very dark here, yeah. If you like you've been told, oh no, not even told you're about to die, or for example, yeah. Like, what would you want to be known for as Khaled Siddiq? What did you come and do on this earth? What did you come and do? What would be your imparting legacy? Your departing legacy be?
That's a deep question. I've got the answer in my head. I'm just trying to think of the way to say it. Through my music, first and foremost, and the message that kind of came through it, it made Islam real for people. And it took it out of the, yeah, it just made it real for them. It was a reality for them.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
So I want to add that it's almost like people who are Muslim have this inner struggle of being Western, being swaggy, and being Muslim. And they feel like these two worlds are at odds with each other. And I feel like with your music and why it's so cool, it's like, okay, for example, Ya Habibi, yeah? You can just bop to that tune, you can sing to that tune, and you're proud to be Muslim through that song.
Yeah.
Especially in an age when Muslims are seen as backwards, and many of them are.
Seen as.
Many of them, you know, seen as. Many of them, many Muslims are backwards. Many Muslims are regressive. They're not progressive in their thought. So to have someone, that's cool, man. To have someone like, so, and obviously what music you've been teasing online, and hopefully by the time this is out, it'll be out by that point. The music you've been teasing online is out, and it's almost like that thing of like, well, listen, young people in that category listen to music.
Yeah.
Either do it thinking sinfully, or they do it happily. Yeah. But then to have something like, okay, cool, it's on the level of mainstream music, but it's still so cool to listen to, and it's Islamic. I feel that's what you actually brought to the table in many ways.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to that. So what does the future hold?
It's just the future holds just more growth, more truth as well. Me being more giving people the true me, and also, you know, learning more about myself as well, getting closer, and the realities I'm experiencing, it's expressing more of that through music and helping people more and more. And we're both on this journey together, you know, me and the listener. We're both going on this journey, and if anything that I'm saying or singing or whatever, rapping, writing, is helping you with that journey, then I've done my job. It's just the approach. I'm trying to find that perfect approach, and maybe I'll never find it, but you know, the intention is what kind of keeps us, that we can hold on to as long as we have a good intention. Yeah. That's what God looks at.
Someone who wants to come up with music, then did what you did. What advice would you give them?
Someone wants to come up with music. Ask yourself the question as to why you want to do it, and you have to be quite serious with yourself as well. Do you just want to do it because, you know, you like the kind of lifestyle, or do you actually have something that you actually really need to express out there? So once you've kind of figured that out, then it's about what you're willing to sacrifice for it. So your time, your money, your like leisure, you know, friends to an extent in terms of you can't always go out, all these kind of things. If you're not willing to make that sacrifice, I think you probably don't really want to do it. And the work, the journey will kind of expose you for it anyway, because you just won't be able to keep up with it.
So, again, Muslim artist does music. What do you feel like music can help someone's faith then?
I mean, I can only ever talk for myself, and as I ever felt that music has helped my faith, 100%. And it's not even necessarily this Islamic music thing. So it's not like a case I'm always every song you're gonna be here is like, oh, that's 100% Islamic. Like, but then again, what even is Islamic? Is it words, terms? You know, is that all Islam is, or is it a way of living life?
Well,
and any human.
I read a book called "What Is Islam" by one of, I think his name is Shahab Ahmed. He's a professor. And he was just saying the whole thing Islamic is bogus. Yeah. For history. For history, said he had that, you know, when the previous empires would mint coins and put La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, that became an Islamic coin. You know,
it's just, I don't know, it's just the whole labeling thing and identifying with things, and it kind of helps. It's just all for the ego to kind of give it a sense of reality. So 100% music, like, 'cause the music can move your heart, and if you're moving to, if your heart is being moved or inclined towards things that are good, anything in the world that is good, that is holds merit or beauty, or it's all Islamic. That's all Islam calls towards. Islam doesn't call towards a term or a language or a you know a way of dress, or, like, you know what I mean, or a particular hat. You know what I mean. So, like, these things for me, they aren't Islamic. Like a song like Bob Marley, like the majority of Bob Marley's catalogue, Islamic.
Yeah.
You know a lot of Bob Dylan stuff, but Islamic. Anything that's all Islamic for me. It's your perspective on it, and if all your Islam is going to be a few words, a few key phrases, a few terms, and all Islamic now, then what's your Islam?
Or the way you look, the way you dress.
Exactly. What is your Islam? When I strip all of that, what do you have left? Nothing.
Exactly.
You know. So.
Do you feel then also then, considering what you do, that it's good? It's good to push boundaries then.
Yeah, 100%. Pushing boundaries where, you know, where they're allowed to be pushed.
No, of course. For example, a good example would be the Ya Habib video. In the sense that you had guys bopping and it was fun, and you know, so why do it?
I mean, yeah, it's a case of, again, me not trying to be this amazing, perfect role model. I'm just being, because like, we do that in normal life. It's not like all of us guys that were in that video have never done that before. Yeah. Like, that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. But we all are, you know, Muslim, and we all do it on different levels and da. So it's like, all right, let's just show that in the video now. It's just being real. Obviously, if we're going to start doing stuff that we don't do, like, you know, whatever it is that we don't do, like, then there's going to be fake, and it's going to be a bit weird, and why pushing that boundary for? But if it's just, you're just trying to be natural and true to yourself as an artist, and just express that, then it will just have whatever effect it has. And that's the kind of road I'm kind of going down. It's like, this is my life as a Muslim, living in the world, in the real world, not a world that I've created for myself, that kind of helps me, you know, deal with, you know, the existential crisis or anything like that. Just the real world. Then, you know, that's the path I believe that's going to help make Islam real to people. For
someone who's like as a pioneer in this field, then, do you feel the Muslim community is ready for someone like you, or is it like you're going to set the groundwork and someone else will come up, or you are carrying this mantle?
It's interesting. I mean, boats are safe in the harbour, but that's not where boats are meant to be. So this kind of ready, like, is it ready? Like, just go, innit? Just go. Like, whenever you go, you're ready. And are they going to be ready? I don't know. Will they ever be ready? But just when we find out when we press go in it. So exactly. Let's find out, and inshallah it all goes, and it will all go to the plan, to the one plan. So yeah. Bro,
yeah, Habibi. So I can come back to it. 1.2 million views on YouTube.
A banger. 1.3 now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah.
No, 1.3 million views on YouTube. Absolute banger. How did you write that? How did that come about?
I think one of my teachers from Birmingham just said, I think you need to write another song about the Prophet. So I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. And I just sat down one day, found a beat, and then I had I wanted to do the Mawlaya Salli wa Sallim Daiman Abadan. That's one of the first kind of salawat kind of songs I'd learned.
Yeah.
Then I was kind of just changed the, instead of that Mawlaya, so there's Mawlaya Salli do. I just kind of break up a little bit. I found a beat and I wrote it in like 20 minutes. Yeah, wow. Just kind of but it was because it flowed quite easy. It just did the verses real quick, and it's kind of just really flowed fast. So then yeah, that's kind of creative process. I normally have the melody first, so I just be like no. So and then I'll put the words to it, and then I'll kind of with the verses I'll kind of sit and just kind of keep playing the beat again, and it just kind of just flows through, you know. I don't try and take too much ownership of it. When I overthink about it too much, then it gets problematic and doesn't sound good. But I just kind of let it out, that process, and that's all it is. To be the better you are as a musician is the less kind of you start thinking about it. Like it just flows from you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Just
to go back to a point to come to my head now. You went from, you said you were conservative before. Are you a liberal now?
To be honest, these political terms, I don't even know what they mean too tough. I mean, I know kind of what liberal means, like open, but Yeah, it's this thing where you kind of go, are you with this or are you with this? You know, it's like, well, I'm just a this, innit? Like, if someone else wants to label me or whatever, then so be it. But then surely you need to know everything about my every opinion and my and then and is that ever even possible, or is it just something that kind of helps humans navigate by labeling people? It's a human thing,
and more so I think because in the Muslim community, we see in the Muslim community that people just want to box people. Because you know what it is, when you box someone, you can write them off quicker.
Yeah, exactly, and you can move past.
He's just a liberal. That's why he does that. Exactly. No, we don't deal with liberals. She's just a feminist. But
it's an easier way. It's like a quick hack way to move through life.
Exactly.
But it's not. You're not actually experiencing
life is
real
much more
life.
Complex than that.
Exactly, and to sit and to actually. Understand and admit its complexity, then it's going to take a level of like confusion. Exactly. And if you're lazy, which is most people are, then the labeling thing's going to be a lot faster. But you know, in certain things I'm very conservative with. Some things I'm very liberal with, like with marriage, for example. Like I'm very very
exactly everyone.
Yeah, I'm very 100%. Even to the case of like just. Yeah, very conservative to that. But then other things I'm not. So now what am I? Do you know what I mean? So in terms of with my religion, my heart is kind of like my sheikh. Whatever it tells, and it doesn't mean like I just listen to whatever it says. If it tells me to listen to a certain teacher, then I'll listen to that teacher. I don't use my mind and like, oh, I don't like this guy or because of what other people think. I just kind of follow my heart. So whatever you want to label the heart as, I'm that.
Wicked, bro. Thanks for that, man. Love that, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Hope you enjoy this, guys.